Narration: Henry sprints through the fog-laden moor, his breath sharp, eyes wild, heart pounding. Something unseen chases him. A frail figure emerges from the mist, a woman stops him, calm yet insistent. He cannot speak, only screams. Flash 20 years forward. Henry stands at the same spot, face tense, hands clenching, remembering the nightmare that changed him forever. London. Sherlock storms into a cluttered apartment, blood on his hands, tossing papers in a frantic search for relief from withdrawal. John watches helplessly as Sherlock rages, demanding a new case. The bell rings, an unexpected visitor appears, Henry. Henry lays out the story: the death of his father on Dartmoor, a monstrous hound, and a mysterious research center. Sherlock remains skeptical. Yesterday, Henry visited Dewar's Hollow and found enormous paw prints. He calls it a hound, a word Sherlock cannot ignore. Next morning, Sherlock and John drive through Dartmoor, the hotel looming ahead, fog curling between hills like silent predators. A tour guide brags to tourists about the legendary hound. Sherlock observes quietly, noting each exaggeration, each lie. Henry sits with his therapist. Whispered words in his dreams, liberty and, refuse to leave him. Anxiety claws his chest. John notices a hotel receipt for a mountain of meat, suspicious and out of place. He pockets it, eyes sharp. The tour guide confirms seeing the hound too, claiming it was a ministry experiment gone rogue. The story twists deeper. At Baskerville, security is tight. Using Mycroft's pass, Sherlock and Henry slip inside, adrenaline cutting through nerves. Dr. Franklin greets them. He knows Henry, once friends with his father, concerned and careful in his introductions. Henry pours tea at home, muttering the words from his nightmares. Sherlock studies, calculating, restless, impatient. Evening at Dewar's Hollow. Fog thickens. John investigates a flickering light, Morse code blinking from the distance. Sherlock ventures into the pit. Henry follows, tense. Something massive lingers just beyond view. Henry panics, asking if Sherlock saw it. Sherlock denies it, hiding the tremor in his own voice. Later, in a dim restaurant, Sherlock confesses in a burst of frustration, he did see it, but denied fear. Tension between partners spikes. Outside, the blinking light repeats. John investigates, only to find headlights, a harmless prank. Embarrassment and relief collide. Night swallows Henry's house. He wakes sweating, the same words echoing in his head, his walls feeling closer than before. Every television channel shows dogs. Every shadow looks like teeth. The lights flicker without reason. A sudden bang hits the glass door. Henry drops to the floor, crawling, hands shaking toward his gun. The noise stops. Silence returns. But it feels rehearsed, artificial, waiting. The next day, John sits across from the therapist, smiling politely, asking careful questions that hide sharper intentions. She speaks about Henry's trauma. Before John can press further, Franklin appears and exposes the lie. The meeting collapses instantly. Morning. Sherlock arrives at Henry's house energized, intrusive, moving through rooms like he already owns them. Henry looks exhausted, unsteady. He asks again about the hound. Sherlock dodges the question and asks one of his own. Why do you call it a hound? The word hangs in the air longer than it should. Outside, Sherlock notices John writing. A pattern starts forming, and his mood shifts without explanation. They run into the local officer. Sherlock senses pressure from higher places, invisible hands steering the situation. John shows the meat receipt. The innkeeper admits to using a dog for tourism, but claims it was destroyed. The story doesn't fit. The size doesn't fit. The fear doesn't fit. Sherlock decides to return to the lab. Access is granted again. This time, Sherlock creates a distraction. John is sent deeper inside alone. A sudden light floods John's eyes. A piercing tone drills into his head. His card stops working. 903. Darkness snaps shut. The sound stops. The silence is worse. He finds a broken cage. Something was inside. Something left in a hurry. A low growl moves through the room. John backs away, breathing fast. He locks himself inside a cage instead. It feels ridiculous. It also feels necessary. The shape moves. Bigger than it should be. Closer than it should be. Sherlock's voice breaks in. The lights return. The room is empty. The fear remains. John insists he saw it. Sherlock dismisses it instantly. Calls it chemical interference. Sherlock borrows lab equipment. He examines sugar. He finds nothing. That bothers him more than evidence would. He throws the sample away and goes still. When he does this, it means something dangerous is happening in his head. The words click into place. Not a memory. Not a dream. A location. A project. A name. Files confirm it. A long-abandoned experiment designed to turn fear into a weapon. The drug doesn't create monsters. It creates certainty that monsters exist. Someone restarted it. Someone local. Someone familiar. The accent. The timing. The access. Franklin fits too well. At the same time, Henry sits in therapy, hands shaking, eyes unfocused. The room shifts. The shape returns. He raises the gun without realizing it. The shot misses. The illusion breaks. Horror at what he almost did crashes down on him. He runs. Still armed. Still unstable. Still being steered by something he can't see. The call reaches John and Sherlock. The destination is obvious. The risk is worse. They drive hard. The fog thickens like it's waiting for them. Henry stands inside the pit, gun in hand, staring down like the ground owes him answers. Sherlock talks him down, piece by piece, replacing the monster with a man. The truth lands. The hound was never real. The killer was. Fog rolls in again. Thicker. Faster. Deliberate. A massive shape forms at the edge of the pit. And this time, everyone sees it. The fog swallows distance. The shape at the rim doesn't move, yet it feels closer. The officer arrives, weapon raised, unsure what he's aiming at. Fear spreads faster than orders. The shape lunges. Someone fires. Sound disappears inside the fog. The mass collapses. The fog thins. What lies on the ground is smaller than fear promised. Narration: Henry steps forward, confused, betrayed by his own eyes. The fog keeps rolling anyway. That's when Sherlock notices the pattern. He kneels, presses the soil. Something hisses nearby. The fog isn't weather. It's being released. A figure moves at the edge of sight. Watching. Measuring. Sherlock recognizes him instantly. So does Henry. The truth lands without ceremony. This was never about a beast. It was about control. Franklin runs. The fog breaks around him as he disappears into the trees. Henry chases first. Rage moves faster than reason. John follows. Then Sherlock. The officer stays with the fallen body. The terrain changes. Signs appear. Fences. Warnings. Too late to stop. Franklin doesn't slow. He knows what's behind him. He underestimates what's beneath him. The ground clicks. The sound is small. The meaning isn't. The explosion ends the chase and every unfinished sentence with it. Silence returns, heavier than before. Henry stares at where the man was. There is no victory in his face. The case is over. The damage isn't. Morning breaks over Dartmoor like nothing happened. It always does. At a cafe, John waits. Sherlock arrives late, already thinking about something else. They talk about the lab. About the gas. About the pit. John asks the question that didn't wait for permission. He saw the hound in the lab. No fog. No more. Sherlock offers a technical answer. Pipes. Residue. Old systems. John doesn't accept it. He never does when it matters. He says Sherlock locked him in that room on purpose. Silence answers first. Then a look. Then nothing. John reminds him about the sugar. About being wrong. Sherlock doesn't argue. That's how John knows it's true. Outside, the moor looks peaceful again. It always lies. Henry packs his things. Slowly. Carefully. Like someone leaving a hospital. Henry packs his things. Slowly. Carefully. Like someone leaving a hospital. The pit is sealed. The ground is quiet. At the inn, Sherlock watches the owner for a long time. He doesn't ask if the dog was destroyed. He already knows it wasn't. He doesn't ask if the dog was destroyed. He already knows it wasn't. Some lies are useful. Some are just convenient. They leave Dartmoor behind. It keeps its secrets anyway. London feels louder than before. Safer. That doesn't mean safe. Sherlock puts his coat down. He doesn't sit. John writes. He always writes when things don't fit. Neither of them mentions the hound. Somewhere, Henry starts sleeping without the lights on. The lab is closed. Officially. The project is buried. Officially. Sherlock stares at a wall like he's filing something away. John closes his notebook. Some cases don't need more words. On Dartmoor, the fog rolls in again. It always will. But this time, nothing waits inside it. The pit stays quiet. The fear doesn't. It just loses its shape. Sherlock finally sits. John stands up. Outside, the city moves on without knowing what it avoided. Inside, two men prepare for the next problem. No legends. Just consequences. And this time, the story ends where the fear does.